Kaya Shakshurmritam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gorave Gorachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Continuing on the topic of Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, written by Vedavyas Srila Badarayan. A sutra means a thread, and according to Shankaracharya, it's like a thread that goes through different garlands, which are the Upanishad, to make a very nice mala. There are actually 6 philosophical treatises in India, 6 philosophical schools. It is called Shat Sandarbha. They usually go 2 by 2. There's Nyaya and Deshisheka, logic and analysis. Then there's Yoga and Sankhya. Sankhya is the theory of what is this material world. There's 2 things, Purusha and Prakriti. And Purusha is bound by Prakriti. Yoga, it's actually the mean by where one can become free. Purusha can become free from Prakriti. And the 2 last philosophical schools are the 2 Mimamsa. What is a Mimamsa? A Mimamsa is actually somehow to reflect what you call in Western school an exegesis. An exegesis is you analyze a scriptural text, a textual text, be the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, and you analyze it thoroughly and try to make sense out of the text. So there are 2 Mimamsa, 2 exegesis of scriptures. One is the old scripture called the Veda and the Brahmana. This is called Purva Mimamsa, or sometimes called Karma Mimamsa. And the head of this school was Gemini. And the later one is called Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is the Karma Mimamsa, means prior, and the later one is Uttara Mimamsa, which means later. And this is Vedanta, and it tries to explain all the Shrutis, later Shrutis, like Upanishads. So sometime Vedanta Sutra is also called the school of Uttara Mimamsa. It is the way to understand the different Upanishads. We will see with the Vaishnava Acharya, beginning with Ramanujacharya, but also with Madhvacharya, how also the Smritis are considered also part of this Uttara Mimamsa or Vedanta. The Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, it's a book of aphorism divided into 4 chapters. And those 4 chapters are each divided into 4 parts called pada. A pada is a foot or is a quarter. So 4 quarters divided each into different sections called adhikarana or subject matters. And these subject matters may differ according to different schools and also according to the methodology that is used in Vedanta. But I'm not going to go into this. This is more technical. But simply to remember that there are 4 chapters and 4 parts in this chapter and different sections. The Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra aim to synthesize all the teaching of the Shrutis. This is why the first chapter is called Samanvaya. Samanvaya means that all the scriptures are analyzed and they're all saying one thing, to know Brahman. Brahman is named only once in the 2nd sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. In the 1st sutra. In the 1st sutra, this is named for the entire book. And in the 1st chapter of Vedanta Sutra, when it is not named, there are metaphors used to understand Brahman. So it is Akasha, the space, or Prana, the breath, or Jyotis, the light, or best Ananda bliss. It is also known by a different function. So sometimes it is called Sarvatma, the universal soul, Antaryamin, that is Paramatma within the heart, the inner controller, Bhuma the great, and so on. This is the first chapter. It describes Brahman. What is Brahman? Then second chapter is called Avirodha. Avirodha means refuting wrong conclusion, wrong philosophy, like Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, the Vedic schools, but also Buddhist philosophy, the 4 types of Buddhism, and Pashupata, worshippers, those who worship Shiva, and so on and so forth. The second chapter deals with what Brahman is not. Then the third chapter is called Sadhana. Sadhana, we know, it is the method by which one can attain Brahman. Then the fourth chapter and last is called Phala. Phala means the fruit. The fruit is moksha, liberation. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, in his Sandarbhas, describe how Vedanta Sutra is actually divided by Sambandha, the first and second chapter. What is Sambandha? Who am I? What is Brahman? What is my relationship with Brahman? Then second chapter is Abhideya or Sadhana. Then the last, what is called Moksha, it is Prayojana, the goal of life. And above Moksha is Prema, the Panchama Purushartha. There are 4 goals in life. Artha, Kama, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And the last one is Prema. Dharma is the duty, the religious duties that we are bound to do in order to have a good life in this world and in the next. Artha is the fruit of Dharma, meaning wealth and everything that is needed. Then Kama means also the enjoyment, and Moksha, ultimate liberation. But above Moksha, it's Prema, love. But we have seen how we need a commentary to understand Vedanta Sutra, because it is very terse and very short. So without a commentator, it is not possible to understand. In the olden days and even today, Advaita Vada philosophy is very prominent. Shankaracharya is very prominent. Most of the Pandit in India are influenced by Shankaracharya. Most of the Sanskrit philosophers also in the West, they think that Sripad Shankaracharya is the best commentator of the Vedanta Sutra. But it has been proven also by those who study seriously Vedanta Sutra that Shankaracharya is the commentator that doesn't follow strictly the sutra. He contradicts the sutra. Many scholars have said so, many Western scholars also, saying that Ramanujacharya was the one who was the closest to the understanding of the sutra. Others say Madhvacharya. But let's start with Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, he was born in Kanchipuram in South India, and he had a very great scholar in the line of Shankaracharya called Yadhava Prakash. Yadhava Prakash was an impersonalist, and he was teaching the Advaita Vada philosophy of Shankaracharya. One day he was sitting, Yadhava Prakash was sitting, and Ramanujacharya, he was called Lakshman Deshika at that time, because actually Ramanujacharya is the reincarnation of Lakshman, the brother of Ram. And who is Lakshman? Lakshman is Baladev Prabhu. So he was there massaging the head of his Gurudev, and his Gurudev was teaching. He was teaching something from the Upanishad, saying this famous phrase, Kapi Asam Pundariksham, that meditate on Vishnu, whose eyes is like the color of a monkey. And Sripad Shankaracharya said the color of the monkey, of the bottom, the buttock of the color of the monkey. When he heard this explanation, then Ramanujacharya, his heart melted and he became very angry, and hot tears came from his eyes and fell down on the shoulder, naked shoulder of his guru. And tears can be cold when it's out of distress. Pain and distress make cold tears, but hot tears when someone is in great anger. So the tears were also mixed with great anger. And when it fell on the shoulder of Yadhava Prakash, this guru understood something is wrong. He understood, oh, there's something that is wrong. So he turned. He said, what is the matter, Lakshman? And Ramanujacharya, who is Lakshman, he said, this is the wrong explanation, wrong translation. Actually, nowhere has it ever written that the color of the eyes of Vishnu are the same as the color of the buttock, a monkey's buttock. This is totally insane. Who will ever wrote something like this? This is very offensive. How can you explain something like this? And Yadhava Prakash said, you are against the explanation of Sripad Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya. No. But I think he has misled you on purpose. Because actually this kapi means monkey. Yes, it is true. But it's also what we call an apax. An apax in grammarian philology, those who do a comparative language, they know that sometimes there's a very rare word. So this is called an apax. And this kapi actually describes not the monkey or the buttock of a monkey, but a rare lotus flower which is red. And it is described everywhere in the Puranas and elsewhere how Vishnu's eyes are compared to lotus. So therefore they are red lotuses. It made perfect sense. Yadhava Prakash could not answer anything. He knew that it was a wrong explanation he has given. He became ashamed. And in his heart he felt this person can become dangerous. Because he is a devotee of Vishnu. And devotee of Vishnu, they will not like this Advaita Vada. Another time, Yadhava Prakash was explaining this Sarva Karvidam Brahma, that everything is Brahma. And again, Lakshman, he described, no, this is like every thing is one, everything is Brahman. And he said, no, this is not the right understanding. Everything is one. Yes, that is true. But everything has differences also within this oneness. And he gave that example that I gave the other day of a bird. A bird may be, green bird enter a green forest. That doesn't mean that the bird becomes the forest. Simple example. And Yadhava Prakash, this is the nature of the demons. Instead of thinking my disciple is more intelligent than me, he has surpassed me, and I'm very glad, I'm very happy. He became envious, and he started thinking, I have to kill this boy. Otherwise, he will destroy everything, he will teach the religion to Vishnu. So he planned to kill Lakshman, who is Ramanuja. But I'm not going to tell this story in detail because it's a little long. I'm going to come to the point when Yamunacharya, who was a great leader in the Sri Rangam temple, came to Kanchipuram and saw Lakshman Deshika from a distance. He saw it from far away. And he didn't go near Ramanuja because there was Yadhava Prakash. After he tried to kill, and he was saved by Vishnu. And he came back to Kanchipuram. This Yadhava Prakash was very amazed, but he pretended, oh, I'm very happy you survived. I was so afraid for you and everything. And because Ramanuja is such a devoted scholar, he didn't reject his Gurudev. But then Yamunacharya saw him from a distance, and from a distance he saw, oh, he has the perfect qualities of a perfect disciple. Not only this, but he will also replace me when I'm gone in Sri Rangam, because he will be the embodiment of devotion. And he prayed in his heart to Vishnu, to Bharadaraja, who was the prominent deity in Kanchipuram, please let him go away from the clutch of Yadhava Prakash. Then he went back to Sri Rangam. But his disciple, one of his disciples, came to Kanchipuram, and through him this disciple taught Ramanuja the Stotra Ratna, the famous poem that even Sanatana Goswami is reciting and quoting also in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying, I don't know how you can find a most miserable person than me. I know that you are very merciful, and this mercy goes to those who are most fallen. But who can be a better recipient than me? I am most fallen. This is from a Stotra Ratna. Ratna means jewels, Stotra means prayers. The jewels of prayers, they are recited in the temple of Sri Rangam daily as a devotional routine, and the very beautiful prayers. And when he heard those prayers, Ramanujacharya was so moved that he said, I have to go to Sri Rangam to see this Yamunacharya. But because they were traveling by foot, it took a long time to go there, and Yamunacharya was very ill, and when they come, actually, he was already passed away. They were carrying him, his body, on the palanquin. And the disciple that came to Kanchipuram, Mahapurnam, he was so aggrieved that he fell unconscious. And also Lakshman Deshika, the Ramanujacharya, he also fell unconscious. When he came back to his senses, then he was allowed to approach the body of the departed soul of Yamunacharya. And he saw that he was lying down with his right hand, his 3 fingers were completely closed. And he asked the disciple, was he crippled in any way? His fingers were closed before he passed away. They said, no. So he understood he must have some unfulfilled desires. And he made a vow. He said, yes, I will follow this Sharanagati, the path of Sharanagati. I will also teach it to others. And I will make a commentary on the Divya Prabandham. The Divya Prabandham, this is called the second Vedanta. There are 2 Vedanta in the line of Ramanujacharya. The one that is written in Sanskrit and the one that is written in Tamil language and done by the Alvar. Nama Alvar, for example. He said, I will also make known this Alvar and I will comment on them. And then one of the finger of Yamunacharya opened up. And then he made a second vow. Ramanuja said, I will write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra called Sri Bhashya in the line of Yamunacharya. And then the second finger open of Yamunacharya. Then he said, I will make these 2 great sages known by the commentaries and the exemplary life that I will lead. Parashara Muni, that wrote Vishnu Purana, and Vedavyas, who wrote all the other Puranas and Mahabharata. And then the 3rd finger is open. So sometime in the Guru, there's unfulfilled desires that the disciple will fulfill. And he understood his heart, even though he never spoke to him during his lifetime. He understood, just like Yamunacharya understood exactly who was Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya understood exactly who was Yamunacharya, even though he didn't speak to him. And later on he became the head of Sri Rangam. And he wrote his Sri Bhashyam. It took him 20 years to write. He went to the Himalayas because he said there are prior commentaries, even older than Sripad Shankaracharya, I want to know. And there was a commentary written by Bodhayan. Bodhayan Maharaj, not our Bodhayan Maharaj, but this one in the tradition of Sri Vaishnavism. He wrote a commentary. They went to a Buddhist temple to get this manuscript, but they claimed they didn't have it, though they did. So his disciple managed to steal the manuscript during the night, and they escape. But the Buddhists run after them and capture back the manuscript. But because those days people were very smart, their intelligence was very sharp, they didn't need modern technology like computer with a memory or memory stick. They memorized everything by heart, and the disciple memorized everything for Ramanujacharya, and this is the basis of Sri Bhashyam. Sri Bhashyam, which actually described the relationship between the soul and Brahman, this sambandha. There are other commentators. This is Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya was a very stalwart devotee, very much against Advaita Vada, and very staunch. He was speaking the truth, even though it was very sometimes harsh. And in the line of Madhvacharya, we have Sripad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who also was teaching very strongly, very firmly. Then our Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then our Gurudev, also, he was also very staunch. Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, they were all in the line of Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya was also Anuman, or Vayu. The god wind, the wind god Vayu. He was very strong, and he also went to the Himalaya, saw Vyasadeva, to learn from him the meaning of Vedanta Sutra and Mahabharata and all the different scriptures. He learned directly from him, because in those days there were no qualified gurus to teach him. So he went directly to Vyasadeva. Then there's also Nimbaditya or Nimbarka. Aditya or Arka means the sun, and he made the sun stop. So he's called under a Nim tree. So that's why it's called Nimbaditya or Nimbarka. Sometimes some devotees say Nimbaditya, others says Nimbarka, but it's just the same meaning. The son, he wrote Dvaita Vada, commentary on Vedanta Sutra. That means that the soul and Brahman, they are both one and different. Then there's Vishnu Swami also, who wrote Shuddha Dvaita Vada, the pure non-dualism, but his commentaries are lost. We don't know what they are. But in the line of Vishnu Swami, we have Sripad Balabhacharya, who wrote a commentary also on Vedanta Sutra. Those are the main commentators, Vaishnava commentators of Vedanta Sutra. Vanchakalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitaram pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.